This is Houston. Say again, please.
Houston, we've had a problem.
Hey there folks, and welcome to my first vlog in my new place, hence the surroundings are all very different behind me. Those who saw my little phone video that I put up, just telling people that I was nearly back, of which now I am. I kind of panned around the room and that sort of thing, so you can always have a look at that. Not so easy to pan this thing around when I've got the microphone and everything set up the way that I have. This is actually the very place where I do the recording now for the games themselves, so I can kind of chill back on this couch and just get on with it, whereas before it was slightly uncomfortable. I was sat in an office chair and what have you, because of the circumstances. So it was all very comfortable. Even got little beanbag sort of footstool things I can stick my feet up on and kick back big time while I'm recording and rambling on to you fine people. It is Friday. I have just finished my run, gone off, and I'm having my first Miller. And while I was having my first Miller, I wanted to talk about the new PS4K, or Neo as it seems to be codenamed, and the leak. It's not an officially announced thing. It has leaked out into several sources, and I've been looking at what people have been saying, and there's an awful lot of people that are, for some reason, really upset about it. Now, I can understand all of the points of view that are coming out. I can, to some degree. I, however, am sitting on the other side of the fence with this argument because, okay, to let you know what it's all about, first off the bat, that'd be handy, wouldn't it? So it seems that Sony are making a slightly more Uber version of the PS4. And the initial reason for doing this was because they wanted to release a PS4 which had 4K TV capability. So they wanted the resolution of 4K on the PS4. Now, when they launched the PS4 2.5 years ago, whatever it was, they obviously the cost of that wasn't really relevant, and there wasn't a huge amount of people with 4K tellies at that point anyway, because they were still very expensive. I mean, they're still not that cheap now, but they have come down a fair bit. So that the primary reason for them doing this is to get the 4K resolution onto the TVs, which is great. And on its own, they could probably have launched a console just with the 4K on it, and people would have, with 4K tellies, would probably been tempted to go it. There wouldn't have been the hoo-ha that there is, and people would have been quite happy. However, they've also decided that they're going to up the I believe the memory and the graphics card and such like are going to be tweaked upwards so that they're capable of doing a bit more. It'll still be a PS4. It's just going to be capable of better frame rates and better graphical quality, and that's pretty much all that they're going on about. And what they've said to designers is there won't be any games that are just for that console. It is a PS4. All platforms of PS4 will get all games, but they must ensure that any games from the point of that launch come with two settings. So you would either, when you put your game in, it's the same game, it's the same disc, you'd put the game in and it would say, I believe it would say which setting do you want to run with, standard PS4 or Neo setting. It won't be called Neo at launch, it's just a code name. And you would just pick which one and you would go. And if you had the Uber version of the PS4, the PS4K, then you would get a slightly better, crisper version of the game. If you don't have that, you'd be none the wiser. You're still getting the PS4 game that you would get anyway. So this has caused a massive hoo-ha, because people are obviously saying, hang on a minute, there's an awful lot of people that have only just bought PS4s 4 months ago, and now they're saying, well, hang on a minute, does that mean that means I've got to go out and buy another one? Well, it doesn't really. You just stick with what you've bought. Unless you're absolutely determined to get, I mean, the PS4 games look brilliant anyway, so there's no rush for people to go out, in my opinion, and buy one of these things just to get a slightly crisper edge on graphics and get a slightly better frame rate. I mean, it's not the be-all and end-all of the world for me. I mean, I don't understand quite why people are getting so angry about it. Maybe I'm missing a trick, but in the last gen of consoles, we constantly got thrown versions of console. We're getting it already. Versions of consoles with game prints on the boxes, with Uncharted PS4s, with the Uncharted controller, the Uncharted skin on the box itself. People are trading in their old ones, getting the new ones, or paying out more money for the. I mean, I must have bought 4 360s in the last cycle. Now, admittedly, 2 of those got the red light of death, or whatever it was called. But I bought others because they made slimmer versions of them, but they did exactly the same job. And yet I was still buying another console. So my outlook on this is, if I'm going to buy another console that's being thrown at me and it's got better things in it, I'm even happier with that. I'd rather buy a console that's capable of doing something slightly better than my existing one does, and it still not impact the rest of the world. I mean, everyone else can still play with their PS4s if they don't want one. I mean, I'm not going to go out and buy one just for the sake of buying one. I don't have a 4K telly anyway, so that part of it, I'm not really overly bothered about that at the moment. So I won't go out and buy it just for the 4K capability. And I don't have, well, there's no games anyway yet that have the ability to be tweaked upwards. I believe that they've said to the developers in this document that they can go back and patch games if they want to give them this extra boost. I've also heard a lot of people moaning, saying this is going to be more work for developers, and well, not really, because they already have to scale these things as they're developing. They have to test what these things are capable of. They have to know if they can scale too high. A lot of the time they've already scaled them too high anyway for the PC version. I mean, PCs have this anyway. If you buy a PC game, there's 100 different settings, isn't there, for you to set and tweak depending on just how powerful your PC happens to be. If you have an Uber machine, you'll get a better experience than a standard machine. And I understand that console gamers say, well, I'm a console gamer because I don't want to have to keep upgrading. Well, you don't have to keep upgrading. You just stay with what you've got. You're still going to get a great game. It's still going to look fantastic. But if you really want to just get that extra bit out of it, then buy the new version, the PS4K. They're not telling you to. There's nobody's saying you can't play this game because it's on the PS4K and not on the PS4. That'll never happen. It's quite clear in this document there will be no exclusive content for the new version of the PS4. It will still be across both platforms. So I don't quite understand why people are getting upset about it. I would rather, because I know I'm going to buy a new PS4 at some point, whether it's because it's got a bigger hard drive, or whether it's because it's got, or just the one's getting older, or it's got a new skin, or it's got slimmer. I mean, there'll be a number of reasons why I'll buy a new one at some point, because I love the console anyway, and if they make a slightly slimmer version of it, I would go for that. But if they're telling me that I can buy one that's got extra bits in it, that's exciting to me. It's not something that it's not something I get angry about. It's something I think, well, that's brilliant, because I'm not just buying it because it's slimmer and slightly quieter. I'm buying it because I'm getting more out of it. It's actually got better functionality. That's brilliant to me. If they want my money again, like I did in last gen, paid out 4 times for the same hardware I was playing, there's nothing changed. So that's the 360 I'm referring to. Actually, in the last life cycle, I only had one PS3, but it's because I got into the PlayStation quite late on, the PS3, and I bought a Slim because it was sort of midway through the cycle of the PS3 when I bought it, so it was a Slim that I bought. So yeah, I'm actually quite excited about it, and I do understand people sort of uneasy about it. I don't understand the level of anger about it, but I do understand why people are slightly uneasy about it. And if they stick to the word, and there isn't any exclusive type stuff for that console. I mean, I was watching somebody go, but the very fact that it's got better settings means that it's exclusive content. That's nonsense. Absolute nonsense. Exclusive content is something you can't visually touch or play in a game. It's nothing to do with whether or not it's slightly crisper or not. That's not exclusive content. Exclusive content is things that you can do in a game and play in a game, or see in a game, or buy in a game. That's exclusive content. It's got nothing to do with how well a game plays. That's nothing to do with exclusive content. So I'm really excited about it, and I hope they don't do a U-turn on it simply because 50% of the people playing PS4s are upset about it. I think they should stick with it. I think they should do it. I think they should stick by the guns. They've sold some ridiculous millions amounts of PS4s now. They obviously need a reason to give people a reason to buy another one. And people who only bought them 2.5 years ago probably aren't going to buy another one just because it's slimmer. And let's be honest, I mean, people said, yeah, but the slim ones came at a cheaper price. They weren't that much cheaper. I mean, if you go and try and buy a PS3 now, you're probably still looking at 150, 160 quid. They're not that cheap. Even when they slim them down, even when they get old, they're still decent money. the consoles when you buy them new. They don't get that cheap. So I'd much rather have a slightly tweaked, better version of a console midway through its life cycle than just keep getting different, slimmer, different skinned, different, just on the surface stuff. I'd rather have something better in it if I'm going to pay out the money again. I mean, some people were saying, why not wait? Why not just wait until the PS5? Do a 5-year console cycle and just have a PS5. I think they'll probably do that anyway, to be honest with you. I don't think they've already said, both of them, Xbox as well, I think, have pretty much said they're not going to wait 7 to 10 years. They can't. I mean, they just fall so far behind. And they can see, I mean, everyone said that consoles were dying. Well, quite clearly they're not, because the PS4 is the fastest selling console of all time. And at some point, it will become the biggest selling console of all time. I have no doubt that console will outsell the PS2 eventually. But, so there you go. Anyway, that was my opinion of it. I just wanted to ramble on a bit about it because I'm personally excited about it. I think it's a great idea. I can kind of understand why people are wary of it, but I don't think we should be getting angry about it. I think we should see it through. I think they should see it through. I certainly hope they don't turn things around because they're worried about upsetting all the fans. I think they should stick with it. They've obviously got a marketing plan. They've obviously trying to give us something more than we've got, and I think it's great. I'm sure there'll be a lot of people that disagree with me, and that's absolutely fine. I mean, it's only my opinion, and I can understand people having other opinions. I can understand people being wary of it. I don't understand why people are getting upset about it, but I do understand why people would be wary of it. But yeah, so there you are. That is my general opinion on it. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you disagree with me, if you agree with me, by all means, let me know. I'm really interested to see what people think about all of this stuff, and be interesting to see if it is actually all as it is on this leaked piece of paper and stuff, because it's all kind of come just flying out of the blue. I think people expected the 4K version, but they didn't expect the console to be capable of more and these two settings on the games and stuff. So yeah, so there you are. It's been an honour and a privilege chatting to you about it today. Give me some feedback in the comments below and I will answer everyone, and I will see you all soon. You guys take it easy. Bye.